I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I would option the new 2025 Acura Integra Type S. It's in liquid carbon metallic over red interior, 5 horsepower more than the Type R Civic. More interior features, but it comes at a price. It's around 20 grand more than a standard Integra. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to touch bases on some pros and cons, compare this against the competition, and give a problem that I have with the new Integra Type S. In the front, it's going to be more unique than any vehicle in its class because it comes standard with the jewel eye LED headlights and chicane daytime runnings that integrate into the Pentagon grille, which is a motion design, so any angle that you look at it, it's going to look like it's moving. The hood gets the air vents, and it's all functional to help operate that turbocharged VTEC engine. The lower gets the glossy black, but then we get the matte black in the lower center, which to me is a con. Kind of wish that they would have maybe integrated the same color as the vehicle there and then put the gloss black on the lower strip so it would keep that performance style. It does have a wider profile because the fenders are flaring out, and underneath the hood is what's special. It's a 2-liter VTEC turbocharged 4-cylinder producing 320 horsepower with 310 pound-feet of torque. That's paired exclusively to a 6-speed manual transmission, which is the same as the Civic R. The difference, though, is the 5 horsepower more, reaching 60 in the 5-second margin. So it's not going to be the fastest in class comparing to the Germans, BMW, Mercedes, or Audi, but the bargain that you're getting for this, we got Brembo brakes, 4 pistons in the front with the red brake calipers, 19-inch wheels, and look at the side sill that flares out. I think they do a great job with the styling elements and giving you that performance drive. Taking me to the first reason why I would pick this, it's not only styling, but it also has adaptive dampers, dual axis front suspension with a multi-link rear suspension, a limited slip differential, a lightweight single mass flywheel which helps the rivs going higher and it helps them to go lower, so for performance it's ticking the box. So it's not just styling elements, they've actually done things to the vehicle. Dynamically speaking though, 6238. Which is not going to be great for the weight distribution compared to BMW, Audi, or Mercedes. But if you're comparing it against Lexus, this is hands down a deal because you're just in the 50 grand margin. Yes, it's 20 grand more than the regular Integra, but you're getting to 0 to 60 around 2 seconds quicker with this. And if you look at BMW, you're going to be paying an extra $20,000 to $30,000 depending on trim, unless you go into an M240i, and then that's a coupe. It's not a 4-door. So if you go into like an M3, it's going to be longer than this. The price is going to escalate quite a bit. And even an M340i is at around $70,000. Going into Mercedes, it's the same thing. A C300 is basically what you're paying for this, and this is going to be quicker. You go into the AMG C43, now you're going to be paying $70,000, $80,000. This is why it's not only a bargain, but it's something that can be driven daily. Whereas when you go into Honda, it's going to be a little bit more rigid with the drive. This is more of that everyday with the performance, and because it's a Type S, this is the only way you can get this spec, which I always like that. That is a huge pro when I'm going to look at vehicles. I hate ticking the box to features. Just give me everything. The styling element is unique to it with standard chicane LED taillights. The trunk lid spoiler gets the gloss black as well as a touch of it on the hatch for the stoplight. The lower gets the diffuser, and this is the sweet spot here. And between it, you get the triple outlet sport exhaust with active exhaust valves. Front and rear parking sensors with a reverse camera. The con here though is you do not have an option for a 360-degree reverse camera, which when you go into competition, you can tick the box for that. You can't get a moonroof. You can add carbon bits on the exterior so it'll look a lot more sporty, but then when you start adding, it's going to go over 60 grand relatively quick. At the spec that it's at, I think it's definitely a great blend. I mean, let me know your thoughts about this, comparing it against the Germans and who it actually competes against. Because Infiniti, the Red Sport 400, they're not going to be making it anymore for a Q50 because they discontinued the line. That was kind of the sweet spot, but now I feel that Acura has taken over from Infiniti and Lexus, and now it's actually giving competition to the Germans. The problem that I have with it, though, is I feel like they just they gave a touch of what they can really give. And that's the problem with the Type S, opposed to what they used to do, where they would actually give full-blown performance. Out of this engine, you can tell that you can get a lot of performance out of it. They shed as much weight as possible. They even upgraded the brakes. I mean, that's a 13.8-inch disc with a 12-inch in the rear. But it's still lacking in the sense of performance getting into the 4-second margin. Quick release, which is a con to me, it should be power release at this price, going into 24.3 cubic feet. Because it's the hatchback, and the only way you can get this, you're gonna have a lot more cargo capacity than anybody in its class. And underneath the floor, you'll have your pump and some areas that you can put some storage. Because I'm tall, I'm going to simply just pull the tabs here. Otherwise, you'll have to go into the back seat in order to do this, to split fold the rear bench at a 60-40 split. That's gonna maximize cargo capacity. But we need to go inside and start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. The key fob to the Integra Type S. 12-way power seat adjustment is standard for the front. Heated front seats, ultra suede interior with the red and black, Type S badging. Let's fire it up. The dashboard is going to be flat with 15 speakers through ELS Studio 3D. 5.3-inch heads-up display, 9-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio with Acura Link. Put it into reverse, and it does have trajectory. It does expand whenever you maneuver the steering wheel. You can change different camera layouts to even a tow, which I don't know why they even add this. The first big problem that I have with the interior is this 9-inch. I wish that it was integrated in here, but let me know your thoughts there. Dual climate control settings. I do like that we have physical buttons with a wireless charging pad, 2 USB ports, and a 12-volt. Manual transmission. You're gonna have the ultra suede with the Type S badging, gloss black with a wall here. I can do away with that. Ambient lighting. And you'll have the two-tone, so you'll have this aluminum look that goes into it, so it makes it a little bit different than the Type R. Leather wrap steering wheel, it's perforated on the sides, Type S badging, multi-function, and a 10.2 information display that can go through an array of different content. You can also change the whole display layout on both sides, as well as putting the navigation. And when you change the driving modes, you will also notice it changes everything out a little bit too, but only 3 different driving modes to select through. Cup holders with a deep storage pocket. It's pretty soft to touch. Leg space and knee space is not too much of an issue, even though I am kind of sitting up in the air, but Honda and Acura do a good job with the seat bolstering. The same thing with headroom. Dashboard and door panel configuring together nicely. I just don't like this right here. I think they could have done without that. One touch up and down for the front windows. It's soft to touch where it needs to be with a medium-sized storage pocket. With the auto-dimming rear view mirror, no panel moonroof, you get a sunglass holder. And the second reason why I would choose this over the competition is the seat itself is the most comfortable for that daily drive, and you still keep the performance alive. For the back seat, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more with cup holders in the center. The door is going to have the same materials that's found in the front, and it's still soft to touch where it needs to be. Just a little bit smaller storage pocket. Cup holders here in the center. You will not receive any air vents or any USB ports at all. The leg space you have with me driving in the front with storage only behind the passenger seat, and headroom is still doable for somebody at 6'3". Now we're going to check the performance. We have it in Sport Plus. Here we go. The shift pattern as well, so the heel to toe, you're not going to have a problem. In fact, you'll actually learn how to drive a manual going this route, so the engagement is definitely fun. The ride, you will feel some of the imperfections. I mean, we got 19-inch wheels, but for the most part, it's pretty smooth. And a lot of that is because of the way the suspension's laid out, as well as the interior comfort to the vehicle. Sound deadening is actually not bad either once you get into higher speeds, so I'm liking what I see. But then on the cons, not being the fastest in its class, I just feel like they're giving you some of what they can really give, but they're not giving the full potential, which kind of irritates me a little bit because they do that with all of the Type S, in which it puts itself at a great pricing, but I just want a little bit more, and that's all they need to do. I mean, really, drop it into the 4s or the mid 4s in the 0 to 60, give us quarter miles that are in like the 11 to 12 second margin, so that way it's exactly what we're wanting out of the Type S. I mean, let me know your thoughts on that. But hands down, if you are thinking about competition, none of those vehicles are going to really compete with this because it prices itself out of the category, in which they should all be in the 50 grand price, but they have escalated into the 60, 70, and $80,000 price, where Acura is taking over the market, giving what you need for that fun to drive, luxury in the interior, and a deal, which is the third reason why I would choose this over the competition. Unfortunately, our route has a lot of road work today, so we're going to do the best that we can to show you a little bit more performance in the vehicle. Turn radius at more or less the stop point, about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Ah, she is fun, and you get some of the cracks that come into play. It's just a great example. Braking is great. Brembo brakes in the front, you're taken care of there. But it's going to lead me to some more cons. I mean, this 9-inch infotainment screen, not a huge fan of that. I like that we get the heads-up display. There isn't really a lot of configuration when it goes into the gauge cluster. I do like that we have physical buttons. I dislike that we have this driver focus wall here, because realistically speaking, nothing is driver focused in this vehicle except for the manual transmission, and they just kind of mask a Honda into an Acura, but they do give it the essence that's a little bit more, giving 5 extra horsepower, giving the extra warranty, and even adding the Acura watch, which includes the adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation, forward collision, lane departure, lane keep assist, road departure. I mean, it's a ton of different things that they add to make this just a little bit better than the Civic Type R. But is it enough? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Regal Acura for giving us this 2025 Acura Integra Type S for our car review.